Hey everyone, Catch 'em All Collectibles here. In today's video, I'm going to talk about knowing your opponent, kind of knowing what you're up against. Recently, I've made a couple videos linked above about more knowing the buyer side, knowing your consumer, how to optimize for what they're searching on eBay, the search terms, how to go check out those videos if you want to. You have the items, you're listing them on eBay. How do you optimize reaching those consumer eyes depending on the item? Certain items have certain strategies. So yeah, go check that out. But this one is going to be more about the competition side. So you're not the only one. I'm not the only one selling Pokemon cards. There's a lot of people out there. And just a fact of reality is that I guess except for one person, and no one person has market dominance in every niche. No one person owns all the areas. But what I was going to say is there's always going to be someone bigger. I guess that's true for everyone except the very single individual who's the biggest, and that individual is probably a business. But anyways, there's always going to be someone who has a better shipping rate, who has better shipping deals with UPS, FedEx, USPS. There's always going to be somebody who has lower fees at their distributor. They have a better distributor, lower fees, better relationship, higher allocations, whatever it may be. There's always going to be someone with a better dealer rate on grading, PSA, BGS, CGC, XYZ, whatever grading card company you're talking about. So how are you going to differentiate as a business, and how are you going to ensure that you can find margin? One other thing that we see in Pokemon, very interesting, I mean, probably would be the case in certain other industries, but I think many industries wouldn't have this. A lot of people interacting are doing it for fun, whether a side hustle, whether a hobby. There are some people by design or willing and able to just lose money making plays, whether that's in ultra modern sealed, whether that's in grading and flipping. There are some amount of people selling at negative margin that you have to compete with. And how do you compete against that? Like, I think say you're in the restaurant industry, that's not going to last very long. That's not going to last very long. That there's a pizza and wing joint in town. You're trying to open one, and the one across town is like losing money day after day after day. That's going to come to an end. Whereas in Pokemon, I mean, literally hundreds of thousands, millions of individuals with interactions in the space. A lot of them are just net consumers. They lose capital in the space. Maybe they screw around a little bit on eBay. Maybe they played around a little bit in grading, but they are fully willing and able to just have this be a net inflow of capital because they're not doing this full time. This is just a hobby or whatever. So yeah, again, how are you going to create a moat? How are you going to create a differentiation? How are you going to do business in the space to where you are able to survive in that? That is the thought behind this video, and that is what I'm going to try to cover today. At least my experience. I did make a video, hour-long video nearly. If you want to go check it out, it's linked above, where I talked about my entire business strategy. I talked about all the different segments of what I do, and I talked about the grading and flipping that I do. I talked about the consigning, a little bit of consulting. I talked about the Patreon, all the different revenue streams. Because me personally, the way that I see, I know certain people, they say the riches are in the niches, and they pick their niche and they try to dominate that one thing. I've always gone the route of jack of all trades, master of none, but better than a master of one. I always try to go like the jack of all trades. I want to be in most aspects of the business. I buy raw, I sell raw, I grade the ones that are gradable, and I do a little bit of everything. And I think one thing that provides, and another thing, one of the biggest differentiators that I think I have is my consistency. I've changed my schedule up over my tenure on YouTube, but I am here every Monday now. I'm here every Monday. I'm live every week. I'm live every other week with every week between my channel and PokeFlips. I think being here, having built trust, having gained experience and knowledge over several years, and just consistently bringing that to the table and putting that into my business, I think that's what my moat is. I think my moat is just being broad and diverse and being well capitalized at this point, to where generally this is a cash poor industry, cash poor hobby. If you're able to stick things out for a long period of time after a reprint, if you're able to hold on to products, generally speaking, Pokemon has had a pretty solid tailwind, and Pokemon has done well Sure, there are times where things can be fairly dark. Things can, I mean, right now, look at all the Scarlet and Violet product. If you are needing to, if you have very high overhead, that's another one of my things that's moat. Very low overhead, very low outflows. I have the ability to be more nimble, be more prepared when cash inflows might not be so steady, might not be so predictable, and when you need to buy multiple sets, multiple allocations where they're selling for wholesale costs or less on eBay. So as of right now, I'm sat on a fair bit of Scarlet and Violet product, and I do believe that there will be a day that is able to be sold for margin. But yeah, not having to fire sale that off at 20-30% losses potentially after fees and after platform fees and shipping, that is a very beneficial aspect of my business. So whatever you do, I mean, there are people that go the bulk route, they grind the bulk. That's another thing. Know your opponent. If you want to go the bulk route, you got to know that there's people out there that have 30 employees and 50 robots, Rokas, fizz batches, magic sorters. So you need to know what you're up against. Again, know your opponent. I think as important as those previous videos that I made about knowing your customer and knowing how to get your product in front of your customer, you also need to know, you need to be like, you need to know your competition and be prepared to weather some storms potentially. You need to be able to weather some storms. You need to be able to weather potentially having lower margin. And some of that is using the creativity and using the various marketing strategies in those prior videos that I made. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. If you think that's important, or do you just go in? Do you just? I mean, I don't know. I guess you could go in and you could just not care whatever. You kind of need to know what other people are doing. I don't spend a large amount of time looking directly at what they're doing. I don't follow a ton of eBays and like look at what they're posting every day. I know that's kind of a thing that some people do. I'm not trying to like steal plays off people or whatever, but I have my own set thing that I do. And I think the biggest differentiator that I do, auction consignment services, extremely high demand, extremely high liquidity, high turnover, because auctions are forced liquidity. I kind of went into the I blazed my own trail, kind of. I mean, buy it now consignments are not a brand new thing, but certainly I think I'm largely the only one who's like exclusively buy it now. Exclusively buy it now by design, though I do auctions if people request as such once they've listed as a buy it now for some time. But yeah, coming up soon. Getting a little chilly in here. Let me throw this on quick. Coming up soon. Happy New Year. I mean, it is a brand new year. I did promise some merch coming. Some merch is in. Some merch is in, and it needs minor adjustments. So I do not want to sell anything to you guys before I get it in and ensure that it's quality. We got our quality assurance guys right behind me. They're working on checking some of the merch out. But yeah, some of the t-shirts need to have minor adjustments, larger logos, better placement. So that is underway. That will be a video maybe in 2 weeks from now. Next week, I intend to do like a 2024 market predictions. I actually did one for 2023, and I was really happy with the idea. I was happy with how it came out. I made some good calls, and I made some bad calls. So I don't know if that'll be one video. Maybe that'll be turned into 2 videos, kind of like reacting to my own video on my 2023 predictions, calling myself out for getting some very wrong, patting myself on the back for getting some very right. So let me know. Would you rather like one 30-40 minute video where I recap 2023 and my predictions and then predict for 2024? Or should that be 2 videos? But yeah, the merch is coming up soon. I'm also going to do a video fairly soon on, what was the other one? Oh yeah, shortcuts. I think a lot of people look for shortcuts, rules of thumb, and it makes sense to an extent, but I think some people get kind of lost in the sauce when looking for shortcuts and rules of thumb, and they try to paint everything with a very broad brush, and a lot of times it ends up doing more harm than good. So yeah, couple upcoming video ideas, couple early year plans for videos. I definitely intend to do 2024 the same every Monday schedule. I have quite a few thumbnails in the bank. I'm scrolling my document right now. I have a lot of ideas for videos that I need to make. I do want to do, I'm not big on reaction videos, reacting to my my own videos, reacting to, updating my former predictions. That is something that I intend to do moving ahead, because I was just looking at my YouTube, 300 videos now. I don't know if that counts shorts and lives. I don't think it does. I think it's, yeah, maybe it does. I don't know, whatever. But 300 videos. A lot of them I made predictions. Some of them I made good calls. Some I made bad calls. So let's start reviewing some of those. Maybe once a month. Maybe once a month I'll do kind of a update it to today, flashback on what I had said. And so kind of like most videos, I think, could use a refresh to some extent, because my channel was smaller. The market has changed vastly in a lot of ways. I mean, some of these were made mid-bubble. Some of them, yeah, we'll see though. But that's kind of the plan. That's a little bit of my 2024 plan. I'll probably make a designated 2024 Dan plan video as well. That'll come sometime in January. So that's what I've got. Thanks everyone for watching. Happy New Year. I appreciate you all. I look forward to a very happy, hopefully great market for Pokemon and everything, 2024. So yeah, I appreciate you all watching. I will catch you all later.